Alright, everyone, we should be live. Let's make sure that's actually the case. Over on Rumble, of course. Unpause and then repause as every single day. We've got the bomb cyclone coming, although it looks like it might actually miss Rutland County. So I'm looking at the weather out there. It's definitely snowing delightfully. We're probably scheduled to get another 4 inches or thereabouts. So it is a storm, but it's not exactly as much as they thought that it was going to be. We'll talk about that briefly. It's an interesting subject, of course. Why is this in the docket? Give me a moment. Why? What the hell? Did I put it in the wrong tab? No, I didn't put it in the wrong tab. Well, I guess I have to bring up all the archival links again. I'll have to pop them in. My apologies, everyone. Unfortunately, my news docket is not cooperating with me. That's very, very odd. I have to clear the docket entirely here, I guess. I don't know what the hell is going on. We'll be talking today, by the way, about some liberal insanity. I did talk about Krassenstein's post earlier, but I thought I would include it in the live stream for people who tune in live and prefer, maybe they play me in the background or something like that. I figured that I would give them the edification there, and we have many other things to cover, trust me. This is going to be a very, very fun news day, actually. There. Okay. Well, now we've got our docket. Rembo, yay, my favorite pirate is here. Arr, matey, yes indeed. I'm Crack Sparrow. That's because I'm associated with Sleazy P. Martini from Guar. So yeah, we're going to talk about the bomb cyclone. Some of you are probably going to get a shit ton of snow. We already know that the people in the Midwest did. Here, by Vermont standards, it's more of a gentle snow. 4 inches is nothing to us. Most Massachusetts massholes, as we call them, no offense, cannot drive in snow. Well, they can't drive in general, but, whatever. White House throws Admiral under the bus in killing of alleged drug boat survivors. I loved this story. Who gives a shit if they die? Doesn't really matter. I'm going to read Krassenstein verbatim because that he's gone completely crazy. And then we got to talk about the R word, aka retard, because the leftoids are coming after that term now as well. Yeah, how predictable. Censorship, writ large. Wonderful. I see occult priestesses here. Wonderful. Good to see you again. Pseudonoid. Sticks got dem shades on. Hims will be flying high before the stream ends. I don't really use drugs, actually. The only pills that I use, they have to do with mushroom extracts, and not the kind that gets you high. Don't call me tall. You are disgusting. It's interesting. Yes, Cole Olds, I see that you are here, along with Based Acid Fox and many others. I am calling you retarded, Sticks. That's fine. Yeah, I've never been called that before. Yeah, I don't understand the problem with the term retard. You don't actually use that term for people who are mentally retarded. You're using that as a moniker for somebody who is otherwise intelligent but making stupid decisions. Like, I've been acting like a retard at times recently. It's just the way that it works. Copium Poppies, Sticks, when are you going to wear an SS officer uniform on stream while wearing blackface? Buy me an SS officer uniform, and we can negotiate. As far as the blackface, that's easy. I've got plenty of charcoal out in the garden. Mostly, though, I want to pump it into the soil. Liberals would like it because I'm sequestering CO2, and conservatives would like it because I'm growing bigger vegetables. Actually, I've got terra preta in some of the jars pots over there growing my bromeliads. Oh, they love it, by the way. Normally, they grow on bark anyway, so the carboniferous soil really, really helps them. It helps them resist disease, and they're growing fantastically well. Actually, at the moment, they're blossoming. In fact, I would like to show that off before the blossom on that one plant dies off. That would be fun. He's not that kind of channel. Don't call me tall. You are retarded, Sticks. Can you read? I've written more books than you've read. And for some reason, there seems to be some sort of meme that I live in an attic or something like that. I'm not 100% sure where this came from. I mean, it's not real, but it's hilarious anyway. Rabbit with the thirst. Oh, you have no idea. Yes, believe it or not, there are women that are attracted to me. This gives me more power. I like it. Sigil, Sticks may be on the retard council, but we do not grant him the rank of autist. Concentrated juice. Have you ever watched Europa the Last Battle, Sticks? I did see part of it. I didn't watch the entire thing. I do need to get to it at some point. Yeah, I'm not a basement dweller. I'm an attic dweller. I'm even worse. Joe9611. Fuck, marry, kill. Peyote LSD mushrooms. Also, what's minimum acreage for a solid homestead? If you have at least an acre, you can grow a shit ton of food on an acre of land, assuming that you properly cultivate it. We've got 2.3 here. I will fuck LSD. I will marry peyote, and I'll kill the mushrooms. I wasn't interested in those. By the way, I like that comment a lot. Il Sarto. What's your take on Candace's episode yesterday? She went off on Wilmington. Didn't see it. I don't really pay any attention to Candace Owens. I realize that she's grown massively in popularity. She's going to have the same problem that Nick Fuentes is currently having at some point, which will be hilarious. I don't have any problem with her, but I just don't watch the content. Copium. We need to crowdfund Styx's SS officer uniform, but as expensive as that would be, it would be to replace the pirate getup. It's actually not that expensive. If you look at the reproduction sites, you're talking, I mean, if it's high quality, you're only talking a couple hundred. If it's like, you know, you're going out for Halloween, it's going to be a lot less than that. It's pretty fun. Yes, I will dress as a Nazi, if you want me to. I will do pretty much anything. Let's get to the news, shall we? We've got the bomb cyclone supposedly coming. This is a named storm, by the way. Fortunately, it looks like, for the most part, it's going to miss us. We're going to be glanced by the edge of it. So, yes, for those of you that are, I believe, a little bit further north, you're going to end up with some severe weather. Here, it's mostly just a regular Vermont snow. Let me tell you something about Vermonters. We know snow. There was one year, it was about 4 feet of fucking snow. I mean, it was up to here, basically. I was trudging through that in order to get to the airport to go down to Florida for winter break. By the time you get back, half of it's melted, but it was a pretty funny day. I could barely make it through. Their attempts to clear the roads and the sidewalks were perfectly meaningful because it really worked so well. I'm sitting there and I'm looking at a huge pile of snow, as tall as a house. Like, we're talking 15, 20 feet of snow. Like, all right, this is a mountain that I have to climb because otherwise I have to step out into traffic. And the problem is that people can't drive under these conditions. So I'm trying to get my way to the airport. I managed to actually get there eventually, and then went down to Florida, and I thought that that was like a really, really great winter, by the way, because I got to spend a couple of weeks under conditions that are a little bit more favorable for human survival. But that was one weird day, dude. It was snowing. It was almost blizzard conditions. I'm walking through 4 feet of snow minimum, and people are skidding all around the roads. I mean, it looked like hell. Copium. Name your price, and I'm sure Clankdom would contribute to the fund via Super Chat. Lol. Yeah, no, if I get enough money, yeah, I'll wear a Nazi uniform. That sounds fun. I don't think I can have the little swastika armband. I think that would probably get me banned. But, yeah, everything else, yeah, that works. There's nothing bannable about simply having a Totenkopf on your hat. Closest thing that I have right now is my pirate doubloon. I like dressing as a pirate because I like piratical things, but if it's to piss people off, yeah, dressing as a Nazi, that's alright. Sigil, you can get paid to dress as a Nazi? Yes, when you have a large enough audience, yes indeed, you can get paid to dress as a Nazi. I've been doing it for free all of this time. This is why we like you on this channel, Sigil. So, yeah, bomb cyclone is coming through. That's pretty mundane news story. But it is meaningful because I wanted to warn people, because of the amount of snow that's falling and the possibility that it turns to an icy mix, power could go out. If that happens, this live stream will be ending soon. I just wanted to let everyone know that beforehand. We do have actual meaningful news, though, to talk about. The White House throws Admiral under the bus in killing of alleged drug boat survivors. I like this one. I'll be quoting Krassenstein verbatim, as I said. And we'll talk about reefer madness and the R word, among other things. Oh, yes, and then there was the Screen Act, but I don't know where the archive went. In fact, I don't think it's loading at all, unfortunately. So, fuck that shit. This is a congressional site, so we'll just refer to it directly so we can have the direct text involved. It's a hot mess. This is something that a subscriber messaged me about, the Screen Act, actually earlier. I was not aware of this. And of course it would be Mike Lee from Utah who would introduce such a thing. It's basically the Fuck You Act. This is pure think of the children, therefore cede your First and Fourth Amendment rights. It's the same goddamn shit that we've seen over and over from the government. Happens by Republicans, by Democrats. It really doesn't matter which party they're from. So we'll get into that as well. It makes absolutely no sense when you read the text of it. It's deliberately obtuse. Basically, it's the Think of the Children Act. Twisted Pear, here in Michigan, when it snows, we just keep going. Same here in Vermont, that Southerners would not understand us. No offense to people from the southern states, but you don't know how to drive in snow. Joe, instead of an MRE or spicy chip challenge, let's do a 100 times salvia challenge. That is not a good idea. I've used salvia divinorum before, and had a great time doing it too. You have to start off small and work your way towards whatever dosage is actually going to give you the effects that you want. Some people, idiots mostly, they'll take like the strongest extract they can get and they'll rail it. That's really not a good idea. You're going to be hallucinating for a few minutes there, and by hallucinating I mean you're not going to know what the hell you're doing. I mean, probably you'll be rolling around on the floor drooling on yourself, and you'll be seeing all sorts of crazy stuff. You might end up in jail. You might end up in the hospital. Colos for the outfit. Also, mod Bobby. I have said that I will mod Bobby Bobbinson in the future, but not today. Jennys, bro, I used to like you until you sided with Maduro. Venezuela is a hub for Russia, China, and Iran in our backyard. I am not a fan of Maduro. In fact, I wish that he would be hanged. That's not what I was saying. What I'm saying is there any pragmatic way the United States can physically act in Venezuela to actually cause a positive result? Fuck communism and fuck Maduro. He's a former bus driver. He should not be running a nation. That being said, if we can't actually do anything positive there, if we can't cause positive change, the hell are we getting involved for? There's no reason to do so. That's the only thing that I was saying. Do not believe, in a million years, please do not believe that I'm defending Maduro's administration. Because that'll never happen. Maduro can suck a cock. He probably does, too. He looks like the type that would be into that sort of thing. Copium, but it's gotta be blackface. Being black cancels out being a Nazi. Basically, a force field against accusations of racism. Here's the first $5. Get yourself some shoe polish. I don't need to polish them right now. But, yeah, I've got the boots all ready to be, I guess, a gothic Nazi or something like that. I mean, considering the fact that people have already been calling me a Nazi for years anyway, I might as well just put on the SS uniform, so it's not going to impress me if it... Oh, am I getting a call? I'm just going to make sure. No. Not a call I need to take. Not during the live stream. This happens sometimes. Based Acid Fox. Maduro is better than Malay. You are wrong. Yeah, Cult Priestess. Hugo Boss. Yeah, it was funny how Hugo Boss made the Nazi uniforms, actually. And they're still in business. I wonder why the US government didn't decide to flush them out. But yeah, probably best we raise the money via Super Chat and you handle ordering it once the goal is reached so you can get measurements and such right. But yeah, swastikas are allowed on YouTube. Oh, I didn't know that. I thought basically if you displayed any sort of regalia of that kind, unless it's commie regalia, then it's okay. Then you'd get banned. I'll have to look into the TOS. Copium again, I think there are some actual Nazis running the algorithm at YouTube because they actively promote Nazi and Hitler-related content. Literally all it takes is watching one documentary and they flood the feed. See, this doesn't happen to me. I've got my history off and a bunch of ad blocking software, so I don't see the YouTube that other people see. That sounds like a fun idea, though. I've always wanted a Nazi uniform. You know, you don't have to be a Nazi to dress like a Nazi. I mean, it cuts a good figure. Anyways, let's get to our sponsors here before we get to the rest of the news. So we got the bomb Cyclone. We've got this dumb story with regards to the boats in the Caribbean. It's like, yeah, you hit the cocaine boat. The Huffington Post article's probably the funniest take that I've ever seen with regards to this situation. They weren't running fentanyl. It was just cocaine. Alrighty, dude. Okay, so you're admitting that they were drug smugglers from a foreign country, run by communists, where Maduro's getting a cut. You're literally admitting to it, by accident. I don't think that they expect that their audience is intelligent enough to understand what they're saying. They are probably correct. Anyways, first and foremost, we have cultivated-mind.com. And unfortunately, I don't believe I have the mushroom pill pack. Whoops. Yeah, I used them all. Dual activated mushroom extracts for better health. Yes, indeed. There's also something for your doggos and possibly cats, but it's not 100% sure. You'd probably have to crumble them up a little bit smaller for Kitty Bean. Cat Bean needs a little bit of help with regards to the doggo snacks. Good for their health, good for their coat, good for their fur in general, and will promote longevity. I use it every single day. It's just that that pack is now empty and I don't have the next one over here, so I can't show it off. Next, we have BiltongUSA.com. And every time we mention Anton, of course we have to dip into the biltong. Of course we do. Yeah, you can use this in stew. Too salty, he will say. You can use it in stew. You can use it on toast. It's delicious. Tastes beefy. It's sort of like, imagine Vegemite had a beef overtone. That's basically what it is. It's far superior. I'm going to side with South Africa on the triple spread sort of thing. Also, Anton can sell you meat. Venison, bison, wagyu, Angus, cabanassi. All sorts of stuff, some of which you probably never had before, and many of which you probably have never even heard of. We've got Stick, Sex, and Hammer mugs, tumblers, and shirts available as well. And finally, we have jamandbean.com. I love doing that every single day. I get a boost because I get to sniff the coffee and eat the Bovrite. We've got Clanker Blend here. You should definitely try it. Medium roast, nice and smooth, no acidity. It's pretty great, actually. Like, that particular formulation works really, really well. Also, many teas available as well as other coffees. I suggest the Yunnan Jig if you want something caffeinated. If you want something uncaffeinated, there are dozens of teas available as well. The green tea is really good as well. So, yeah. Lorraine's Psycho. Haha, boobies. The hell? Copium, another $1 for the SS Officer Uniform Fund. Candy corn. I'm gonna dress up as a Nazi, and I'm gonna have, like, candy corn on my chest or something. Copium. Nazis suck just like commies. The uniforms were badass, though. Hell, they inspired the designs for the Imperials in Star Wars. True, by the way. And the Imperials had the coolest uniforms and gear and vehicles. The local Wendigo. Styx is currently boofing candy corn. Jesus H. Christ. I think Girl of the Valley is hot for me. But I've never even seen a picture of you. You've never sent one. My DMs are open on Twitter. You can always do so if you want to. Joe, don't be a coward. Blast full-strength salvia after taking the one-chip challenge. Oh god. Drool and try to jump through the Ouroboros like a man. If you were to take the one-chip challenge, and then also take salvia at full strength, basically, you might as well just go to hell. That would be a bad idea. Yeah, so let's talk about this drug boat incident. Originally, we were led to believe that Pete Hegseth had ordered the double attack. So we know that he obviously was involved with the first one. But then there was a second round of fire upon the ship. And now they're claiming that an admiral actually was involved with this. I could read something verbatim here, but it's not really worth the time. It was Frank Bradley, I believe. And Hegseth is basically pushing off the blame for this, because I think that they realize that public support for a double attack is a little bit less than simply, hey, we bombed the drug boat. That being said, I don't really care. Honestly, I do not care. We have people running drugs into the United States. I don't have to be against drugs, because I'm not. I think that people should be able to do what they want. I believe in individual rights. The problem is that it's being sponsored directly by a communistic regime that does not believe in individual rights. Maduro is making money every single time drugs are run from Venezuela into the United States. Shitloads of money. How much do you think 1,000 pounds of cocaine cost? That's the crux of the Huffington Post article. They 5 paragraphs down, they're like, Well, we're not even sure that there was fentanyl on the boats. It appears to be just a low-level cocaine operation. Yeah, that makes it a whole lot better. Maduro's making a shit ton of money off of that. Fentanyl is relatively cheap compared to cocaine. So, I mean, why do I want my taxpayer money going to a communist? Why would I want this to happen? Because that's exactly what's happening when these boats come in. That's why I believe in splattering them. I do not personally have a problem with this, and I don't know any other reasonable person that actually has a problem with it either. The problem is, if it was coming in from, like, Colombia, okay, it's supporting some cartel. In Venezuela, if it's coming from there, it's supporting the Maduro regime. Well, I want Maduro to turn into a mummy and, be buried in a tomb somewhere. So why would I want him to make money off of, the misery of Americans that are addicted to hard substances? Lorraine, that's the USS Liberty. Yeah. I find it very, very strange that liberals are more concerned with foreigners running drugs on behalf of a communist regime. They're more concerned with them than with some, former U.S. Army sergeant or something like that who's currently living under a bridge because of Bidenomics. I find this a little bit disconcerting. I have a feeling their priorities are not completely in order. Tarred and feathered, Maduro surrendered this morning? Let me check this. That would be an extreme story. I know he's been under pressure. No, as far as I can tell, he's unfortunately still the leader of Venezuela. It is unfortunate, mainly for Venezuelans, by the way. I mean, he's hemorrhaging support because of U.S. pressure, and I can understand that, and there's no problem with that. I just don't believe in physically striking Venezuela. Apparently, the pressure campaign is working anyway, so there's really no reason to do so. I know that Trump has sided with the exiled opposition leader, among other things. We're putting pressure on them with the energy sector and things of that nature. But physically striking Venezuela is unnecessary and would be, in my opinion, unhelpful. We're at the point where me, of all people, is saying, please don't attack the communist country. There's a reason for this. What the fuck is with my Enki? Did you spill coffee on it or something? Sigil. Holy shit, dude. Maduro just unveiled Venezuela has built a Gundam and is personally piloting it to destroy Washington right now. If Maduro were to destroy Washington, D.C., then I'd have to give him credit, I suppose. Most of the people in Washington, D.C. are fucking pedophiles, so, no big loss. Let's see what Brian Krassenstein is saying today. I did report on this earlier, but it's so goddamn hilarious. I'm going to read this entire thing verbatim again. Donald Trump reposted on Truth Social. This is from Robert J. O'Neill. If you've never been to Afghanistan, you wouldn't understand. If you showed these people an espresso machine, I don't know what it is with espresso in these people, I don't care, and gave them free coffee, they would assume you were a witch and chop your head off. But let's bring them in. This is with regards to Donald Trump banning migration from certain countries. Afghanistan is one of them. Considering that they're run by the Taliban, let's keep that in mind while we read what this liberal has to say with regards to this. This is Brian Krassenstein's response. Breaking: Trump is a racist, because Afghanistan is a race, of course. Major cities, like, that's a little bit of a tell in literally the first fucking sentence he made, like Kabul, Herat, Mazar-e Sharif, and Kandahar, have coffee shops, Wi-Fi, smartphones, cars, and modern appliances. Wow. You know what you can get in the most poor, impoverished part of the Western world. Afghanistan has shopping malls. Wow. We've been losing a lot of them in the West, so admittedly, I guess that's a point. With electronic stores selling appliances for more advanced than an espresso machine. Many Afghans use espresso. Jesus. Many. Think about this sentence when I read it. Think about what this really intones. Many Afghans use espresso machines, smartphones, and other modern consumer electronics daily. Wow. Many of them do. Most of them, they're riding a goat to work. Most people who have lived in Afghanistan, aid workers, journalists, U.S. personnel, etc., describe Afghans as warm, curious, friendly, tech familiar, and not prone to attacking you over a coffee maker. Except for the 10,000 troops that got shot by the Taliban. Also, I would like to point out something, and this needs to be said. People need to ridicule the shit out of this. You go to Afghanistan. Are you gay? Aww, sorry that you got killed and thrown off a building. Are you a female? Sorry you were forced to wear hijab and you got, married off against your will. Are you a child? Sorry you got raped. This is what happens in certain parts of the world. People need to goddamn get with it and realize that other parts of the world do not have the same culture as we have. They are effectively incompatible. Yes, when we're talking about Kabul or something like that, outside of the realm of the Taliban's control, there's a development index. Yeah, people have smartphones and stuff like that. Are you really saying that you have to accept migrants from another country simply because some people have a fucking smartphone? Most of the population of Afghanistan is just busy doing itinerant farming and stuff like that. They used to farm opium. Now I guess the Taliban has mostly banned that, much to the detriment of the United States, ironically enough. Now they're farming beets or something, I guess. This is insane. It's absolutely insane to pretend that Afghanistan has a significant development index. Most of Afghanistan is sub-third world. You might as well go to Malawi. I want Brian Krassenstein to go to Afghanistan. Please, go there. Feel free. If you believe that it's such a wonderful culture, I want you to go there, but don't just go to the developed cities. I want you to go out into Taliban territory. Why don't you go and pal around with them and see what happens? That'll be a real great time for you. And everyone in the West will cheer, because you will be quite dead. And then we won't have to hear your retardation anymore. We'll be talking about the term retard in a minute. Yeah, espresso. The most important thing to the left. I must have my espresso. Local Wendigo. Waiter, waiter. More dead cartels with a side of candy corn, please. I don't need the side dish. Copium. Nope. Got to be actual historically accurate insignia and medals. Don't worry, I don't think anyone would accuse you of stolen valor. Well, there is no stolen valor. Hint, hint. Another... Oh, yeah, you always make the candy corn comments. Come on, dude. Anyone else pitching into the Blackface Nazi Sticks Fund? I always see people complain about how the pirate getup. Here's an opportunity to bring about change. Pirate sticks can transform into blackface Nazi sticks. Yeah, that would work, It's all good. I mean, I went nuts quite some time ago, so. Yeah, I couldn't believe it when I read that story. It didn't make any goddamn sense. But then again, anything that comes from the left typically doesn't. You're allowed to bullseye the boat, but you're not allowed to kill the narcos that are still there that are going to drown anyway. And then a million other stories didn't make sense today. Today was a weird news day, by the way. I gotta say. And as far as Krassenstein's response to Donald Trump with regards to Afghanistan, That made even less sense. He managed, I think that he and his brother might be like eating lead paint chips or something like that at this point, honestly. Yes, now let's talk about the term retard. Yes, indeed, the R word. And sort of like the modern day version of the N word. I noticed that if I call myself a honky, nobody cares. Or if I call some other white person a cracker, they're going to laugh at it. They're going to find it hysterical. But if you use the term retarded, apparently that's a bad word now. It's almost a little bit like being back in the 1990s, only this time around, it's the left that's championing the concept. Retard has made a rebound on the internet. It is being used much more often than it was for quite some time there. I welcome this. I think that it's wonderful. I will not name names, but I know at least several people that are, still in elementary school that use the term on a regular basis. Which is good, in my opinion. You should ridicule other people. People need to grow fucking thicker skin and stop being such fucking pussies, basically. Nothing should be off limits. Human communication should never be off limits. The term retard is never used, well, for the most part, it's almost never used to describe people who actually suffer from some mental condition. It's normally used to describe people that are otherwise normal who are acting like they have a mental deficiency of some sort. I love that book, Teaching Christianity the Mentally Retarded or something like that. Oh, that's been a meme for a very long time. It's sort of like the term crazy. If I call someone crazy, it's because of the way they're acting. It's not because I think that they're actually insane. So it's not a slur in any way, shape, or form. If I call someone a honky, well, then that's just in jest. It's funny. There are certain other racial slurs you're not allowed to use on a YouTube live stream, sadly enough. There's a couple of them that are more notable than the rest. There are certain groups that are protected more than other people. I do not believe that the average person that suffers from mental deficiency cares about the term retard because it's never aimed at them. It's not even in reference to them. Nobody looks down on somebody for having a mental deficiency. They can't help it. Okay, your IQ is 60, you pick turnips for a living. I'm not going to call you names. No, if anything, you're probably better than the average person with a 100 IQ. That being said, the term is typically used to denote that a person is acting as though they were only capable of picking turnips. The person that can only pick turnips, they're not to blame. Hell, who cares? Probably really nice. I've met plenty of slow adults before, let me tell you. And for the most part, I prefer them beyond pretty much anyone else. They're more genuine, more honest, and more helpful, as well as more caring. I actually like hanging around with people that would be classically referenced as mildly retarded. But if you're acting like a retard, then I'm going to call you a retard, and I don't give a shit if you have a problem with the term retard. Retard? I find it funny. I love using the term. Local Wendigo. I know a wannabe dominatrix who hated the word retarded. She was a retarded liberal who thinks she's hot, but actually looks like Miss Piggy. I'm not going to bother asking why you were talking to a dominatrix. I'm going to leave that one alone. That just becomes fucking hilarious. Lorraine Psycho. My oldest brother named a cat retard. Mom called it Riri, but that wasn't the cat's name. I wanted to name Quincy Cornflake because he's white with these tan-colored patches. He looks like a bowl of cornflakes when he sits in his kitty bed. I wanted to call him that, but I wasn't allowed to. Mom took ownership of him and decided to name him Quincy, which is a retard name. And so now he's a retard. He acts like one too. Not just a string. You submit sticks? No, I'm pure top, actually. I'm a dominator. I'm not into submissive things. CP Simple. I once had a roommate who was a dominatrix. Oh, okay. Yeah. That's interesting. You hear all sorts of weird shit on this channel now, don't you? Aren't you entertained? Are you not entertained? Apparently, by the way, the line from Gladiator there, apparently that was not scripted or anything like that. The dude was pissed off because the people were, I don't know, I guess ridiculing his acting or something. And then they managed to get that, making one of the most iconic lines in history, actually. Copium. I used to have a snake named Robert the Prophet Muhammad Paulson. Interesting. I wish I could have a pet snake. Yeah. First, I have to find one, though. I don't really like pet stores, so I would get one from the wild, and then I would release it because I'd feel sad about putting it in a cage, I suppose. Or just let it slither around the house until the cat bites its head off. Micah, she's not nice to other life forms. Let's put it that way. Yeah, the leftoids, are treating the word retard as though it's, some sort of terrible sin to say. Were you not alive? I mean, these people must be younger than me, because if you were alive in the 90s, god damn it, that was the biggest thing you could say. We'll talk about the Screen Act, by the way, in a moment. Copium, yes, I made sure people said the full name, including the nickname. She was the best pet. Sounds cool. Wait. You named a female snake Robert? I'm trying to understand what you're saying, my dude. You named a female snake Robert? Huh. All right. Each to their own, I suppose. Oh, by the way, as an aside, Elton John was rambling earlier about AIDS and saying that Trump would be the greatest president if he could extinguish AIDS completely. They've tried to make a benchmark for 2030, right? So 5 years from now, to eliminate it completely. It is possible to do through prophylaxis and other things like that. I thought it was very, very funny, and then I noticed one glaring thing from Elton. He never mentions Fauci. Fauci was responsible for the AIDS response. You will notice that epidemics seem to follow him around everywhere. Huh, it's very intriguing. Elton never mentions that. Yes, I actually have a medical textbook from, 1992 or something like that. And AIDS is listed in there, HIV. And it's listed as being transmitted through homosexual sexual contact. They never want to admit that sometimes men fuck women in the ass. Anal sex is more likely to transmit it. They never talk about transmission via infusion. They never talk about needle sharing or anything like that. Early on, with Fauci's response, it was basically, if you fuck a dude in the ass, you might get AIDS. Everything else was apparently fine. That chick has some sores on her. I'm sure that's just psoriasis or something like that. That's the reason that it spread so quickly. Because of Anthony Fauci, ironically enough. He was centrally responsible for millions of deaths. And people don't really remember it. You can look it up, by the way. Look up the AIDS documentary. Dan Rather, I believe, was presenting in the first part of it. And it was like an hour and a half long. I've actually downloaded it. And look up AIDS documentary, and you'll get to see Fauci speak, actually, in that documentary. He's like, oh, don't worry too much, everything's fine. Oh, we need to mask up, obviously. Dude, the same exact transcript from the COVID lockdown period is almost exactly identical to what they did with AIDS. We're going to close up the shops. We're going to close up the clubs. We're going to keep the kids at home. It was exactly the same fucking shit. It was completely recycled. The AIDS response was recycled for the COVID response. But most people don't remember this. I was there. I was a little kid at the time. But I can remember when I was told, if one of your friends gets a cut, don't touch him. Don't get near the blood. You might get sick. That's because of the advice of Anthony Fauci. Copium, if you want a snake, captive bred is best. Best to get at reptile shows. I want a pet tarantula. I named her before I found out she was female, and the name was too badass to change. I did later get high and decided to rename her Prophet Muhammad, but sobered up and made it her nickname. You're one of my favorite subscribers for a reason. Yeah, so Elton John, he's right. It would be good to eliminate AIDS. It would be good to eliminate every disease. We could get rid of polio within a couple of years with a concerted effort, for example, and we've beaten leprosy into a pulp, and that could be gotten rid of as well. Wouldn't be difficult. We could eradicate 3 or 4 different diseases probably over the course of the next few years. I agree with Elton John here, although he's a creep. That being said, it's going to take a little bit of effort because also there's another problem. People's lifestyle choices. Like we saw with monkeypox. You had that party or something in Belgium, and a bunch of people were fucking each other in the ass, and everyone started getting monkeypox, including a lot of little kids. I have a feeling that there's probably a reason for this since it tends to be an STD. I will say no more because I'll probably get banned off of YouTube if I elaborate further. I have a feeling that there's a reason so many young boys got the Mpox, as they call it now. They don't want to call it monkeypox anymore because of my stigma. The original stigma about AIDS was actually spread in part by none other than Anthony Fauci. The original stigma was partially in place because he convinced people that it was generally only transmitted by anal sex. And of course, the American public at the time, being moralistic as it was in the late 80s, early 90s, didn't want to admit to the fact that sometimes men fuck their wives in the ass. They didn't want to admit to the fact that anal sex ever happens outside of homosexual encounters. It does. Let me tell you, that is true. But they didn't want to talk about it because, that would be bad form. People's ignorance caused them to get sick, mostly. Frog Jupiter, did you hear about Congress trying to pass digital ID saying it's for the kids? Yes, we'll be talking about that shortly. CCIA currently trying to stop the Texas ID law from passing. Yes, let's get to that. It's called the Screen Act. The Screen Act is basically a very long, boring diatribe from Congress by, what was his name? That goofy from Utah? Which one was it? Mike Lee. Yes. S737. And the bill effectively says, the kids, they're gonna see porn unless we have an internet ID. There's nothing else we could do. We need to have verification methods on all sites. This would cripple the internet. Let's look at it from the pragmatic side. Just from the pragmatic side. So we're not even talking about ethics or anything like that or the Constitution. We can talk about that separately, of course, but let's just talk about it from the pragmatic side. Let's say that I say that any site that has a sign-up system must verify the user's age. What is this going to do to smaller forums? It's going to crush them. They will no longer be able to exist. What does this mean for internet anonymity? The ability of people to go online and post as they wish and not be identified. Well, it means that that'll no longer be a thing. The Screen Act is a terrible idea and should be absolutely brutally destroyed. This effectively is nothing more than their latest attempt to force everyone into an internet ID system. That's basically all that it is. This is the Think of the Children Act. The kids, they will suffer. Yeah, kids are going to get into trouble. They've been doing that for a long time, dude. Not impressive. The problem is that it bleeds over and it affects adults that are using these sites. It would also be a problem for people in foreign countries. When the left talks about, suppression and things like that overseas, what do you think is going to happen when everyone has to identify themselves on the internet at all times? Do I really have to show you my ID in order to use YouTube? Am I really going to have to show you my ID in order to make a tweet? That makes a whole lot of sense. We should go back, in my opinion, in the other direction. We should have more of a Wild West internet. It was a better time. It was more fun. It was more entertaining. It was more innovative. That's what we should be aiming for. If anything, parents need to take, like they say in this act, only like 40% of kids are actually monitored with their internet usage. That's a failing of the parents. I am not responsible for that. You are not responsible for that. The parents are responsible for that. If your child is looking up illicit material or something like that, it's got a child porn paragraph as well, but it's almost written in as an afterthought. It's like, okay, this is a minor issue to you? That should be the major issue, is children being exploited. Children, though, need to be monitored by parents and so forth, and the bill points out, it's not technically wrong. Most parents don't really monitor the internet activity of the children. Why is that my fault? Why should I have to suffer for that? It's the parents' fault. They're just negligent. Probably be better to just take the kids away from their families. Yeah, you read through this. I'm not going to read through the entire bill. Read it for yourself. There's a link in the description. Not archived. It's from, congress.gov. It's ridiculous. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. When I read that, when I got tipped that off by a subscriber and reminded of it, more recently, I was like, what the hell are you even talking about, dude? It's not going to protect kids. It's only so that people in government can control speech and expression fucking more. That's always what it is. If they tell you to think of the children, yeah, they think of children a lot. They think of them in their fucking bedroom naked and stuff like that. These people are creeps. George Gabriel, what do you think about Ohio Senator's bill to end dual citizenship for normal people? Can it happen? It can't be constitutional. No, that would not be constitutional. It would be constitutional if you said that people that are in elected office are not allowed to have dual citizenship. I have a feeling that a lot of members of Congress would vote against such a bill, though. Let me ask. I wonder why. You can probably think of the nation that I'm generally referring to, by the way. And the religion. That next guy. Sticks, I sent you a special message. Let's see what this is. It's probably trolling. I can never tell. That looks like it might be AI related. Happens all the time. I'll check in later. I'm not single and looking though. Just to be clear. David Harp. Sticks, the coolest fucking YouTuber ever. He doesn't give a shit what people think about. He cares about us. Clank on. Thank you for your support. Yes, it is indeed the way that I work. I'm not really interested in people's negative opinions about me. They just wash off me like rain. I just want to infotain people and write books and stuff. That's pretty much just my life goal. That and occasional fucking and stuff like that. Oh yes, and also plenty of good food. I tried to make... Oh, let me tell you a story. So we've gotten through the news. It doesn't matter. I can get to... what was it? Just a second. Oh no, we don't need to... That's not even a news story. I tried to make scallop potatoes the other day. I boiled the potatoes a little bit too long. So it sort of turned into a goo. And then it didn't crisp properly, but I made something else. When I tasted it, it didn't taste bad. It's just that it wasn't scallop potatoes, if that makes sense. I fucked it. I fucked it up. I admit it. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to liquefy it and turn it into a soup. I'm going to add veggie broth, a few other spices, and a few other ingredients, including broccoli. Because I added cheese to it, technically I could make a cheddar broccoli fairly easily. It wouldn't be hard. And I've never made cheddar broccoli before. But it's possible. I can taste the flavor profile. I know what I'm doing. It's just that I boiled them far too long. Whoops. Oh, here goes the snowplow. Have fun, dude. Thank you. Yeah, so I'm going to steam off some broccoli, and I'm just going to put it in the soup and pretty much nuke it and reheat it. Colold, still waiting for that vial of semen for my rituals, Sticks. I'm having so much fun reading the super chats. I don't think that the average person knows how edifying and hilarious it is to read some of the things that are posted in chat. I wish everyone could have that happy experience. Rouse. Ooh, Jason, that sounds like a good idea. Shepherd's pie. Yeah. I make it a little bit different than my mom tends to make it. Normally, technically it's a cottage pie. Hamburger layered with potato and corn. I do it with carrot and peas. You can add corn optionally. And, the way that you cook the potatoes, it depends. Chopping broccoli, Anacar. Oh my god. Bobby, I'm not going to tell you who I'm involved with, because then they'll just get trolled relentlessly. I've learned to keep things private as much as possible. There's a reason why nobody has any pictures of my daughter. Let's put it that way. Ah, Anton is here. Anton is here. Good morning, says Nigel Farage. One of our favorite people. Arnage. Our Anton. Whenever Anton arrives, gives me an opportunity to have a little bit more Bolvrite. Yeah, Pre-Cuban is here, Sigil's here, Copium's here, JD is here, FB is here, Cam is here. We've got the whole fucking gang. And heaven will burn when we gather. Man, that would be funny. Tim Hayes, why would anyone want pictures of your daughter? No, it's just that me and Liz have decided not to post any pictures or videos of her. When she's older, she's allowed to be public if she wants to. That's fine, but she's just a little kid. And some people, they habitually post pictures of their kids. Like, they'll be like 3 years old and they post them constantly. It's like 20 pictures later, it's like, okay, we get it. Your kid's cute. Wonderful. But there are perverts online, and I don't want anyone to see any pictures of her. She is absolutely beautiful and exceptionally intelligent, and a little bit on the mischievous side, by the way, which is hysterical. But I will not be posting any. I mean, nobody even knows her name. There's a reason for that. King of Biltong. We also specialize in imported foods. Check out Biltong USA for a great selection of imported candies, cookies, groceries, and of course, Biltong. BiltongUSA.com, code STICKS for 10% off Biltong. A good deal, by the way, because it's delicious. Make sure to get some Bovrite while you're at it. It's a good idea. These little guys, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You don't have to use it on toast. You can use it in a stew. And probably mix it up as a soup base, actually. It's sort of a little bit like a beef bouillon, but better. For some reason, South Africa has developed the best beef bouillon in the world, so I don't know. Break the Chains Media. Just saw your Venezuela video. I agree war is bad, but I truly believe Trump targeting tied to the election interference. Smartmatic systems. Dominion, Tina, Peters, J6, all of it. I've been reporting this on my live streams. Yeah, I know. I agree with you, by the way. That being said, in good conscience, in good faith, I cannot support any form of land attack on Venezuela. Maduro needs to die. I'm hoping that some Venezuelan blows his head off, actually. It would be good if he was assassinated. But at the same time, U.S. involvement, I don't think would really make a meaningful difference for the Venezuelan people or for our people. If there's no profit to be had in it, why engage in it? I would think it would be better to attempt to conduct diplomacy, overthrow Maduro through diplomatic means. It appears that his regime is falling apart anyway. So he falls apart, he gets replaced. The chick that's in exile in the United States probably goes back and ends up in power. And then we have someone we can actually negotiate with. Keep in mind, she's still a left-winger. She's just less left-wing than Maduro is. I mean, she's not exactly hard right or something like that. Anyways, I think I'm going to go offline. I still have how many works? Oh, wait, I've got that open twice. Okay, never mind. Yeah, I still have like 5 things in the docket for tomorrow. I will be a little bit busy tomorrow. So the live stream probably will be a little bit delayed again, because today I went live around 12:30. It'll probably be 12:30, 1 o'clock or something like that. Plows going by. You can probably hear it. Yeah, it's snowing fairly heavily at the moment. So I will be back tomorrow with a new news docket. Of course, in the morning I have to go through RCP. It'll take me a little bit longer than normal. So, yeah. Yeah, don't call me tall. Look at his gay-ass dolls. That's Sleazy P. Martini. Motherfucker, that's not a doll. It's a bobblehead. I've got Stolas back there, too. Sleazy sells me crack. Stolas sells me spells. Joe, let's clone people from the hairs in a urinal, but bet on the hairs for who we think would win a Coliseum match. If technology were able to do that, that would be a hysterical idea, actually. Huh. Actually, I've never thought of that before. You've got an idea that gave me a brain fart, I suppose. But anyway, yes, I'm going to go offline here, and it'll be funny. Bobby, Styx does crack. Crack Sparrow confirmed. Yeah, let me get my rocks, man. Let me get them crystals. At least I'm not getting it from Hunter Biden. Give me credit for that, I suppose. Tenerife. Damn it, I'm late. Yeah, I went live over an hour ago. Sorry about that. So yeah, I'm gonna go offline and do a few other things. I do have to docket more news, and at some point I'm gonna have to shovel snow. How wonderful. That's about all. Peace out.